First things first, actually, before we get into it, this is a tough card to pick. Volkman could tap in the first 60 seconds of the first round, so just be very aware of that. If Miller gets tired in the first round, Dalloway will win rounds 2 and 3 and possibly submit him. Not the greatest card to put money on. This is the kind of card where a lot of crazy things happen. I'm going to cross my fingers and hope it's not the case this time. Yo, what's up, guys? It's the MMA Analyst here to give you my recap for UFC 146. Man, it started out good for me. I mean, the whole card was pretty much really good. But I mean, for my picks, my lord, it started out pretty good, 2-0. Then I went on the most ridiculous losing streak within a card. I've never had 6 straight, I think it was wrong, in a row. And then I managed to, get the last 4. Ended up 6-6. Anyways, the card, though, was great. Let's start from the top. Junior dos Santos versus Frank Mir. I mean, there's a reason why Junior dos Santos was the heavy favorite. His takedown defense, it's not like he hasn't shown that he has the ability to, stop at least somebody with Frank Mir's takedown ability, which isn't that great. And Frank Mir tried early, and once he tried early and it didn't work, he really didn't get another chance. He could have been one of those guys that just, tries to duck under a punch and move in for a takedown. But Junior dos Santos was on point, striking. He'd throw a straight uppercut and then jump to the side. And, it's not like Frank Mir possesses that kind of Division I wrestling double leg takedown where you throw a punch and all of a sudden, you're on your back. You're like, how did that happen? No, it's not him. So Junior dos Santos striking looked really good, as it normally does. And yeah, man, he tooled Frank Mir on the feet, as, of course, everybody who picked Junior dos Santos thought he would. And, man, he was smart. He knew when to not go into the guard. He knew when it was time to finish off Frank Mir. And then, I think it was Herb Dean. Props to him for stopping the fight before Frank Mir had to take any unnecessary damage. But Junior dos Santos did get one very comical, nobody got hurt, one very comical hammer fist. Also, Frank Mir did fall down very slow. It's like he got hit in slow-mo and then fell in slower-mo. Super slow-mo. It was crazy. Anyways, congratulations, Junior dos Santos. Real talk, though, if I gotta pick Cain Velasquez or Junior dos Santos in a rematch, and Cain Velasquez goes out there and tries to get the fight to the ground and pushes his wrestling and cardio, I'll pick Cain Velasquez pretty much right now against anybody signed to the UFC. Let's talk about Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez versus Antonio Bigfoot Silva. And it's not because of what happened in this fight, although it was a beatdown. Simply, he got the fight to the ground and never let Antonio Bigfoot Silva back up and was just attacking. Like the kind of energy and punch output that Cain Velasquez was doing as a heavyweight, nobody else can do that. Nobody else can just move and not lose the position. Bigfoot Silva, he's a strong guy. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So it's not like he's a bum off his back. But Cain Velasquez was able to maintain control while landing just brutally vicious punches all throughout, and the elbows all throughout. Basically, he was just like, I'm move here, I'm going to hit you. I hit you, keep hitting you. I mean, it was crazy. And that's the Cain Velasquez that I think is damn near unstoppable. If he can just say, kind of like Georges St. Pierre, oh man, I got knocked out, I don't want that to happen again. If Cain Velasquez says, I'm not going to let these guys get me, and just starts taking people to the ground, it's not going to be boring either. And he will smash people, and he will cut people up, and he will have better cardio than everybody in the division, more energy, and just it'll be a vicious cycle of beatdowns. But, first he's got to get a title shot. And who knows what happens next, because now you got a real issue. You've got Daniel Cormier, who is Cain Velasquez's training partner. I don't think these guys will fight. Like, this ain't Jackson's submission fighting situation. These guys won't fight each other. So, Daniel Cormier, let's say he gets a title shot. Let's say he wins. Junior dos Santos loses to Cormier or something like that. And then Cain Velasquez is next. Yikes, that's a tough situation because they're actually already right there. Like, the situation is so close. One of these guys is probably going to get the title shot next. There's a possibility that one of those guys is going to win, and then it makes sense that the other guy gets the title shot next. So, we'll see what happens with that. Roy Nelson versus Dave Herman. The thing about Roy Nelson is we know what he's going to do with striking. And if you're not a good enough striker, you're going to get caught. Dave Herman does not possess the ability to avoid that heavy overhand right for 15 minutes. He just doesn't possess the ability. And that's just the way it goes. In order to avoid that, you've got to always have your hands up. You've got to be very defensive while you're offensive. When you're throwing a punch, like the overhand right's like a counter. It's, it can be used as an offensive when you go in low, and then you just, the punch is above your head almost. And, well, not almost, it definitely is. And it's definitely used on a lot of guys that when you have the height difference. And if you're standing straight, or if you don't know how to avoid that naturally from training, then somebody like Roy Nelson will catch you with it. And Roy Nelson did his thing. Congratulations to Roy Nelson. I feel like I said Roy Nelson's name a lot in that little segment. Steve Mazzagatti, great stoppage. Herman, the thing when people get upset with, it's because literally they were sleeping. So it's kind of like, imagine you're awake, then you're sleeping, then you're awake. You don't know how long you were sleeping for, and you don't know what happened while you were sleeping. So all Dave Herman knows is that he blinked, and he was on the ground, but he was ready to go. But when they watch it back, when he watches the replay, he'll be like, all right, Maz, you did your thing. He'll probably send him a nice little Father's Day gift or something, if Mazzagatti's a dad. Anyways, Stipe Miocic versus Shane Del Rosario. Simple here. I wish the whole card would have went like this because I was just rifling him off, but it gets bad. Anyways, Shane Del Rosario was injured in a car accident. He was tired, and his wrestling is not all that. Miocic has some pretty good wrestling when he decides to use it. I don't know why he waited until the end of the first round, but he needed to because he was getting blasted all up in his midsection. His striking is not bad, and it's actually pretty good, but it's not as good as Del Rosario's, especially those kicks. But Del Rosario was tired halfway through that first round. He could throw the kicks, he could throw the strikes, he can keep his hands up, he could do all that stuff, but at the end of the day, cardio was definitely playing a factor. You can see him breathing a little heavier, and all he was doing was keeping that shell up, and then at the same time throwing a couple nice solid kicks, leg kicks, mixing it up really well. But as soon as Miocic wanted to get that to the ground, he was able to. He had a beautiful takedown in round 2, and then that was pretty much the end of the fight, and he just destroyed Rosario from that point on. Solid win for Miocic. Rosario, he'll be a solid mid heavyweight, mid-level heavyweight in the UFC. A lot of people can get knocked out. A lot of people are going to get, liver kicked to death by this dude. A good fight that I think he would win is maybe him versus Matt Mitrione next. Stefan Struve versus Lavar Johnson. I had a difficulty picking which one is going to happen here. I went with Lavar Johnson, but I recognized that if Lavar Johnson got caught up in that clinch and wasn't able to properly get out, I even said the words pull guard. Stefan Struve could pull guard, and even that would be enough. And Lavar Johnson got messed up. So this was the end of the horrible run of picks. But Lavar Johnson did what he does. Stefan Struve did what he does. They met up at the cage. Lavar Johnson they met up in the center. Lavar pushed him up against the cage, threw some punches, locked in, and then Stefan Struve got control of that arm, pulled guard, threw up an armbar, and boom, that's it. Congratulations to Stefan Struve. How many wins is that now in a row. Is that maybe, yeah, it's 3 wins in a row. Yeah, you know, I don't know. Congrats. I don't know who should face next. Mark Hunt, like, let's get Mark Hunt back out here and just fight anybody, by the way. And then, yeah, tough for Lavar Johnson. But, I mean, it is what it is. It's his 6th loss, and 5 of them were by submissions. Diego Brandao versus Darren Elkins. Damn, this one hurt. This one hurt hard. This was the peak of the pain, all right? You don't know what I was doing in my house, but trust me, I was angry. All right, so Diego Brandao. The thing about the thing that was bothering me was people were like, look, Diego Brandao, he was stuffing takedowns. It was very clear that if Diego Brandao isn't tired, Darren Elkins can't take him down. If he does take him down, he can't hold him down. Brandao's jiu-jitsu is good enough to sweep Darren Elkins. Clearly, it was just an ass whooping from Diego Brandao, and Darren Elkins is completely outclassed. But Brandao gets tired. What happens in the second round? He throws a stupid kick. In the second round, he threw 2 strikes. Anderson Silva, Tony Strickland up elbow, and an axe kick. Axe kick, he slips, falls. That's the end of the round. He's on his back the entire time. Third round, on his back the entire time. Congratulations to Darren Elkins for making it through that first round. Because that first round, I was on that nasty slide. So I'm like, Diego Brandao, do your damn thing. Do it for me. Go out there and fight for me. Fight for Karsten. Me. And damn, I'll be damned. So, but props to Darren Elkins for being a tough ass dude and getting through that beatdown that happened in the first round, because anything he tried to do didn't work. Next fight, Edson Barboza versus Jamie Varner. Oh my goodness. All right, so this was really what bothered me, because there were some people who were like, yo, Jamie Varner's going to win this, and like the wrestling, Jamie Varner wrestling. Anyways, and then it was like, what I say about Jamie Varner? And it's like, yo, you didn't say he was going to knock him out. You didn't say he was going to stay on the feet with him. You didn't say that Edson Barboza was going to be throwing kicks and Jamie Varner was going to be ripping off hook counters. You didn't say that. It's kind of like if somebody says, yo, man, I think this guy's going to, like, for example, John Fitch versus Johnny Hendricks. A lot of people were like, yo, Johnny Hendricks is going to be that dude. He can go out there. He's going to take him down. He's going to ride out a decision. And I'm like, yo, John Fitch is not going to get out. John Fitch is not going to get John Fitched by Johnny Hendricks. That's not going to happen. But nobody picked Johnny Hendricks by knockout except Johnny Hendricks. After Johnny Hendricks knocked him out in like 7 seconds or 12 seconds, people started yelling, see, I told you. No, you didn't. You said he was going to hold him down for 15 minutes. You didn't say he was going to clock him in the first punch of the fight. You were right. The guy won, but you didn't win knockout of the night, because you didn't think he was going to knock him out. Anyways, Jamie Varner did his thing. Congratulations. Solid performance. Edson Barboza, muscle memory, folks. When you get hurt, what do? Edson Barboza turned. He ran. He did all type of craziness. Maybe he hasn't been hurt a lot. But the whole point about muscle memory is you're supposed to have it as a backup plan. So when you get hit, it's like, I've trained so much. Well, he didn't have that. So there you go. What else? What else went wrong? Jason Mayhem Miller just retired. All right, retired. That's it. He's going to get kicked out the UFC, then he's going to retire. That's it. Boom, done. You're going to see Jason Mayhem Miller hosting something on MTV. It is what it is. That was horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible performance. Honestly, this is when I knew that it was going to be a bad night. I'm not trying to dog a dude. I'm not trying to make... CB Dollaway's terrible, guy. Terrible. I mean, terrible. Now, what does that make Mayhem Miller in this situation? I'm going to just leave that for your own interpretation. But CB Dollaway has nothing for this. Like he gets rocked. Now, I'll admit, he got rocked first. But I'm not talking about this fight. I'm just talking about in general. He gets rocked. Then he just holds on to Mayhem Miller for the rest of the round. Which Mayhem's supposed to be able to get out of that if he's able to fight. Or I don't know if he's injured or what. So props to CB Holloway for not just rolling over. Second round, he gets rocked again, even worse. But I guess the muscle memory, so I can't really dog Holloway for doing what he did. He got hurt, and then he said, I'm not going to give up. Because he was effed up in that second round. He was stumbling all over the place. Mayhem runs all over and basically jumps into just horrible. And then third round, Mayhem's so tired. Oh, man, that was so frustrating, that fight. So, anyways, that's the end of Mayhem Miller's fighting career. So, everybody wave goodbye, all right? CB Holloway, all right, man, I'm going to take it back. It's not that you're horrible. It's just that you don't really provide much in a fight in the mixed martial arts world. Next. But at least you're not retired. Dan Hardy versus Dwayne Bang Ludwig. Damn. It was just crazy. Dan Hardy, congratulations, you got your win. It was a stand-up fight. There's no such thing as I was winning before I got knocked out. It was a close, little back and forth thing. It is what it is. The one thing about this is Dan Hardy's left is, pretty, that's his thing. So, you just got to keep your hand up. You just got to fight like this. And that's it. You got to fight. You throw a punch, get that shoulder up to block so that if he does get it over, your shoulder's in the way. You got to just keep it up at all times. No down here. None of this. Not a drop in the hand. None of that. Everything up. Obviously, Dwayne Baglow is a better striker than me. I'm just saying, though, don't get knocked out by Dan Hardy's left. But you did. And then you got your face opened up by some elbows. But good win for Dan Hardy. Paul Sass, this is the one fight that I really kind of was like, man, if I could pick any other one, it would be Paul Sass. Like if I could make some kind of switch. If I wanted to. But I went with Volkman for a reason because I did think he would win. But I knew Paul Sass. I said in the video, man. Paul Sass, the kind of guy where, if you can't practice it, you could get caught. And I'll be damned if Paul Sass isn't pulling off his own little, he's going crazy out there. He's got 13 wins now, I think. 12 by submission. All but 2 in the first round. Mad props to Paul Sass. This is the kind of guy I like watching in MMA. Just, that's actually my kind of favorite fighter. Is just really one-dimensional and submits people. So, props to him, Paul Harris, and Shinya Aoki, and Imanari. Anyways, Glover Teixeira, congratulations. Nice win over Kyle Kingsbury. The one thing I was worried about, skill set, Glover Teixeira does possess a lot of skill. But he hasn't been able to show it against certain types of fighters. Not to say that Kyle Kingsbury is a top-level fighter. But, anyways, good win for Glover Teixeira. And then, this one I thought things were going to go great. And then Mike Brown, congratulations for the win over Daniel Pineda. The third round, that was a little scary. But it is what it is. Thank you for everybody, by the way, who was, listening to the podcast, all that good stuff. MMA is important. Peace.